Welcome to Workday Gourmet. Today we're making caneles. This notoriously finicky French delicacy took me more than a dozen eggs to figure out. If you haven't had them, imagine creme brulee in cake form. Custardy center with a crusty, deeply caramelized exterior. Simple ingredients, beautifully complex flavors. Try it once, and it'll be hard not to make a second batch soon. I tested out the traditional 48-hour batter, a 24-hour batter, and my own same-day hack, with comparisons for you to choose how you want yours. First thing we do is warm up 1 cup of milk with 1 tablespoon of butter, about 1 to 2 minutes in a microwave, which is all the time it takes to make the rest of the batter. Separate 2 egg yolks from the whites. This Bordeaux specialty is a byproduct of winemaking, which uses lots of egg whites to neutralize the tannin in wine. Assuming you aren't doing that at home, check out my langue de chat or financier videos for desserts that use egg whites only. Add half a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of rum. Whisk it up and add vanilla paste or extract. Whisk well and add flour. Half a cup, same as sugar. Whisk until you have a smooth, thick paste. Normally for cakes, you would add flour last and avoid too much stirring as that creates gluten. But canele batters are traditionally rested for at least 48 hours, so gluten formation is integral to its structure. In fact, for my same-day hack, I use bread flour for the extra gluten. So go nuts with the whisking. You can't overwork this batter. Add in the hot milk and butter mixture. Start with 1/3 of the liquid to loosen the batter. Whisk until it's smooth before adding more liquid. This way you should have almost no lumps. Passing the batter through a mesh sieve is almost optional. In addition to gluten formation for structure, another major reason this batter needs to be refrigerated for extended hours is that you'll end up with irregular popovers if you don't. My workaround for this problem is an ice water bath to bring the batter down to fridge temperature very quickly. A very cold batter sufficiently prevents the popover effect. Caneles are baked at a high temperature to create a crust before the heat is lowered to let the center set. Starting with a cold batter allows the crust to form before the center had enough time to rise. Use a thin metal bowl for this if you can. Water is a much faster conductor of temperature than air. This is how I make my flan and creme brulee in 10 minutes. The water bath hack is effective hot and cold. Whisking the batter will help the temperature even out faster. Test with your finger to see if the batter is as cold as fridge temperature. For comparisons, I've made a batter 24 hours earlier and another one 48 hours earlier. For the 2 overnight rested batters, I used all-purpose flour, as most commonly called for, rather than bread flour, which I used for the no-rest batter. Here are the consistency just before baking. The 24-hour one, the 48-hour one. Cooled batter should appear thicker than warm. Spray your pan generously. I'm using non-stick carbon steel pan, which allows you to skip the traditional beeswax coating. Food-grade beeswax can be difficult to find. It's traditionally used to protect the astonishingly expensive copper mold, which, while beautiful, can be impractical for home use. Exorbitant price aside, the key advantage of copper cookware is temperature sensitivity. What that really translates to is that the temperature of every corner of your oven will be accurately reflected on your baked goods, for good or bad. If your oven is uneven, you can easily get inconsistent results with copper mold, even if you follow the recipe precisely. For easily achievable, even-colored coating, just use a thick metal pan with good heat retention. I'm filling each roll with a different batter for comparison. The first roll is the 24-hour batter, then the 48-hour batter, then the same-day batter. They get baked at 450 Fahrenheit for 10 minutes, then reduce the heat to 350 and bake for 50 to 60 minutes, until the top is a dark brown. During the baking process, I noticed the same-day batter domes and rises the most, The 48-hour batter is the most level, but this difference kind of fades away at the end of the hour. Here they are. Unmold them right as they come out of the oven and chill them on a cooling rack. They will be soft while warm. Don't worry, the crust will harden as it cools. You will get a crusty exterior without the beeswax. The longer rested batches have a more clearly defined pattern, but all 3 batches look pretty good to me. Here's the fork test. For best texture, you should really let them cool down to room temperature before cutting into them, since the residual heat will continue to cook the custard. This is the 48-hour one. And the 24-hour one. And the same-day cannelé. All 3 batches have good internal structure. Even, open crumbs, no large air pockets or gooiness. The taste test is like splitting hairs. If I have to name a difference, I'd say the 48-hour one tastes more doughy, and the same-day one tastes more custardy. The 24-hour one is somewhere in between as you'd expect. Taste alone, I actually prefer the same-day batch. Here's another comparison of the crumbs cut from the top. Up close, you can definitely see the gradient from the prettiest 48-hour batch to the less defined batches. I baked another batch and rotated the pan just to confirm it's not the oven temperature that caused the difference. Longer resting period indeed create shinier patterns. Keep in mind though, without looking at them up close, the difference is not huge. So if you don't want to plan ahead, nobody will complain about the easy way out. The crust will soften overnight. Just air fry for 5 minutes, let rest for a minute or 2, and they're good as new. If you find my experiments helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. See you next time.